What would bring more success in Football Manager? A huge stadium that is constantly packed out with fans throughout the whole season, or being the most famous club in the world with the highest reputation? So here we have Southwest rivals Plymouth Argyle and Exeter City, both sitting in the Sky Bet League One, the third tier of English football. And I have given Plymouth the biggest stadium in the world and set it so they pack it out every home game. Whereas Exeter City have the same stadium and match-going fan base, however, they have now got the highest reputation in the game, meaning they are world famous and a club that every player desires to play for. And I'm going to see who is impacted better across 30 seasons in this experiment. Now, as I mentioned, both clubs are in Sky Bet League One, but if you look at the season preview, I haven't changed anything in regards to the actual players that they have, and we're still like day one, so they wouldn't have signed anybody. The season preview puts Exeter City as the highest there simply because of reputation. In the game's mind, Exeter City is the biggest club in the world right now. So, of course, they are going to get themselves promoted from Sky Bet League One. Whereas Plymouth Argyle, down in 9th place. They've just been relegated from the Championship, so they still have a decent team. 9th place is probably quite fair. However, I think it's very fair to say that the season preview was incredibly wrong in season number 1. And that's because Exeter just survived relegation, only 5 points, but they were the position above being relegated, down in 20th place. And Plymouth Argyle actually reached the playoffs, which is very similar to what's actually happened in real life. Exeter City are down the bottom, Plymouth Argyle, they're just outside the playoffs. Doesn't really look like they might be able to get there. They might do, I don't know. But they lost to Bolton in the semi-final of the playoffs, who I think actually got themselves promoted as well from 5th place. 86 points is not bad at all, and they've had a good season. They've had a great season. However, I thought Exeter would be a lot better than this. I thought making them the most reputable club in the world would have a huge impact, because it doesn't look like it. I mean, you can see worldwide reputation. They've got, obviously, a 1-star reputation manager still. Matt Taylor's still got the job. They haven't sacked him or anything like that. And transfer history, obviously, they don't have the money. Though I haven't changed their finances. They've just got the same amount of money. But the players that they could go for might be interested are obviously going to be a much higher caliber of player, because, well, it's Exeter City. Everybody thinks it's the best club in the world. Let's have a look at Plymouth Argyle, though. Now, I might be slightly biased being from Plymouth myself, but I mean, Tom Cleverley's done a great job. They've got into 4th place, just missed out on getting themselves promoted again. What is quite funny, though, is they spent £3.1 million, which is quite a lot for Plymouth Argyle, to be honest. But if we're looking at it in terms of players that they've signed this season, it hasn't really been much other than the Jack Moylan deal here for 500k, which was in the January window. But they do have a silly amount of money now because of the stadium. So you can see they had £16 million on the income this season, which means their finances, it's gone up to £75 million. I could tell you it was not at 75 million before, and they got £46 million transfer budget for next season in Sky Bet League One. And the reason for this, of course, you can see the final home game of the season, which was against Bolton in the playoffs, had 190,000 people watching. And only 450 of them was Bolton fans. Lads, I'm so excited because Manscaped has just sent me the new Desert Sand colorway of the Lawnmower 5.0 mower Ultra. And like always, Manscaped is my go-to product when I'm either shaving my head, my beard, my body, and of course, my balls. And I always feel safe using Manscaped because of that skin-safe technology. Now, the trimmer blade itself features a longer, wider, and rounder teeth that cut through hair with ease. Plus, it comes with a foil blade too, which you can easily just snap on and off just like that. I mean, how easy is that to change? Whatever head. It's like 2 shavers in one. You literally just take one off, you pop one back on. There we go. Nice and easy. It also comes with 2 guards as well, so you can shave at different sizes if you're doing your beard. It's perfect. And a nice little trendy bag too. The foil blade, of course, goes straight to the skin, so it's either good around your neck or even on your sideburns. That's what I use it for. But as you can see, the trimmer itself, it's cordless. It is literally got a light on it as well, and a travel lock, so you can take it on the go if you like, on trips with you. But the hotter weather is coming in now. It might be a good time to pick up a new new Manscaped product, and this one's a beauty. So you can grab yours using the link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment, and when you do, you use the code OMEGA because that will give you 15% off. And that's 15% off your entire order, no matter how many products you get on Manscaped, no matter what you spend on there, 15% off if you use code OMEGA. So use the link at the top or go to manscaped.com, use that code OMEGA, and thank me later. So what I did anticipate was Plymouth Argyle having an early advantage because of the money, but I really did think the reputation at Exeter would help them a lot more than what it has after one season anyway. Let's see if it makes a bit of an impact going forward. But despite being the most famous club in the world, things in Season 2 for Exeter City fans got a lot worse, and I really did anticipate it being this bad for them so soon. Especially because things at the other side of the table were going very well for Plymouth Argyle, who once again were fighting in the playoffs. And in fact, they got to the playoff final and beat Sheffield Wednesday in that final, just 1-0 at Wembley Stadium, which is probably weird for them because it had half of the attendance of what they are used to at their home fixtures, but they still managed to pull it off. Now, the league table, you'd have to go all the way down the bottom to see where Exeter City is. I don't understand how. I mean, they were relegated with only 22 points. I know they've got a bad team to begin with. I didn't think it'd be this bad. I thought with the reputation increase, they would be able to build a good side, but they got Robbie Savage in as their manager as well. Like, you can't help but think that's got something to do with it. I mean, he couldn't have been there for the whole season, but that's not great, is it? They had Kevin Nicholson in between as a caretaker. John Pitts joined in November, so Matt Taylor was eventually sacked during this season. It took him that long to sack him. You can only blame the board. You can only blame the board. Now, it's already dropped massively. They're down to just a national reputation club. And I didn't think it would drop down this fast. I thought normally in like FM24, if you put a club with a high reputation in the lower leagues, it would go down gradually. It would go down, but it would go down gradually. This is plummeted. They are already at a reputation of 5,400. That's half in 2 seasons, which is crazy because in comparison, Plymouth Argyle, still with Tom Cleverley as their manager, I mean, their reputation's higher. How does that work out? As I said, the playoff final was played at Wembley. 90,000 people came and watched. Only 45,000 of Plymouth Argyle fans could, which is like 25% of the usual match-going fans. It must have been so hard to get a ticket. Leyton Orient, the game before it, 190,000 packed themselves into Home Park for that. Just 500 again of Leyton Orient fans themselves. MK Dons before that, 190 again. So you can see where this is going. Every home game, they are getting 193,000 there for the Cardiff game. That's just a normal Sky Bet League One game. So you can see what's happening here. They've had a great time just packing out Home Park and putting in a lot of money into the club because, again, I mean, it was £75 million last season. It's £103 million this season. Their income keeps getting better. £77 million transfer budget, although they only spent $750k last summer. It was £3.8 million last year, and then only $750 when they were given $75 million. I don't know why they were only spending 1% of their budget, but hey, still got the job done. They still got promoted. I think what I'm going to occasionally do now is keep upping Exeter City's reputation back up to 10,000 every now and then just to see if it ever makes a difference. Maybe this was just a one-off where they just didn't manage it correctly. Maybe you need the reputation there, and then every now and then a board member will go, oh, hang on a minute, we are the most famous club in the world here. Let's do something about this and build on it. By then, we're just going to carry on watching Plymouth Argyle just rise to the top, hopefully, but we'll see. All right, it wasn't all smooth sailing for Plymouth Argyle. We are 5 years into the future, which means 3 years on since Plymouth Argyle won that playoff final against Sheffield Wednesday, and they are back in Sky Bet League One, but getting promoted again. So as you can see, they went up this season here, which is the one that we just seen, 3rd place. They were then relegated straight back down in 22nd place, got themselves another playoff spot last season, 3rd place, but then promoted this season, finishing in 1st place. So they've managed to sort of recoup, and What a season they've had, by the way. That is absolute dominance in this division. But you can't see Exeter City. Now, unless Exeter City got back-to-back promotions and stayed in the Championship, which I very much doubt they did, they are still in Sky Bet League 2, if not worse. We'll check that out in a second. Right now, it's still Tom Cleverley as the gaffer here for Plymouth Argyle. Finances, £95 million. So it's actually come down a little bit, although they are still giving them stupid budgets. And they're spending a little bit of it, £12 million. They've got Rodrigo Muniz. I mean, he's on loan, but still, that's quite a good signing. They spent £12 million on one player, Richard Kone. So they are using the money fairly wisely. I don't know. He's a great player to have in that division, don't get me wrong, but it's just a weird way of doing it. There we go, £15 million the season before, when they actually finished in the playoffs and they're relegated from the Championship. When they were in the Championship, they spent £14 million. So that's not too bad. Their best player here was this man from Cardiff. He's now at Burnley, so they've already sold him. I mean, players going out. Did they sell a lot of players in between? £21 million when they were relegated, but still spent 25 more than that. And £4 million there, so... Not really. I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it, with this Plymouth Argyle side? I thought they would... That first couple of seasons, I thought, whoa, we could see them in the Premier League within 5 years. It's clearly not been the case. But attendances, that's the big question. Final day of the season, still 190,000. They're still packing out Home Park as much as possible. Around about that 190,000, which means there's only 10,000 seats in the stadium that haven't been sort of sat in or a ticket purchased. I don't really know how that sort of attendance works. It's a tough old time, though, for Exeter City. I mean, they're in Sky Bet League 2 still. Carl Robinson is their manager right now, so quite a popular manager, to be fair. But, I mean, they're 13th place, and it doesn't really look like they've been doing much. 13th there, so season before, where were they the season before? 8th place. Then the season before that, which would have been the first season in, they actually did reach the playoffs but didn't qualify. That was Warsaw, who went up from 7th as well. So they've actually gone down. They've slowly getting worse and worse, which, yeah, I really thought this would be different. Reputation, now remember, they started off at 10,000, is now below 5,000. So we have gone underneath halfway. They have lost half of their reputation, and I increased it back to 10,000 in Season 3, which means it's took 3 seasons for it to go below half. So I'm going to have to put that back up to 10,000 again. I feel like this is just wasted. But if anything, it's quite interesting to see how bad they're doing with their reputation. But despite giving them a third boost in reputation, Exeter City did not make the most out of it, while Plymouth Argyle continued to increase their reputation by having the most fans in the world. And by increasing the reputation, also increased their performances on the pitch. Quite a lot. I've got another 5 years. We're now 10 years into the future. The good thing is for Exeter City, you found yourself back in Sky Bet League 1, where you basically started, and if anything, the highest point that you've been, because 8th place is actually quite good for Sky Bet League 1 for Exeter City. I mean, last season, you were there in 12th. The season before that, you weren't in the league, so that's obviously where you were promoted. Now, in terms of how you're doing, you've got Paul Heckingbottom as your manager, which isn't too bad, I guess, there. Spending about 500k, but selling £3.1 million back down to a national reputation. I mean, it's 5 years, so it probably has gone down quite a lot. It's higher than where it was, 5,256, so not quite half of what it was. Again, we'll pump it up just for you because, I mean, clearly they need all the advantages they can get. Because right now, where do you expect to see Plymouth Argyle? Because I tell you, it's relegation, but it's relegation from the Premier League, which, to be honest, the fact that they're in the Premier League is quite cool, isn't it, really? They found themselves in the Premier League twice. They've been back up and down. So they finished 17th in the first season, relegated in the second season, back into the Premier League through the Championship in second place, and now relegated again. They need to stay in it if they're going to make any difference. They've got a new gen manager. I never really... Well, actually, no, that's their head of youth development. They've just sacked their manager then. So Paspun, he's just been sacked. Marek Paspun. So how long did Tom Cleverley last? He left his manager role. He's out the Aston Villa manager. Fair play. All right, so I mean they've done wonders in terms of how Plymouth Argyle manager has done. He's took them to quite far up, and they've got some good players as well. Yildirim is kind of their notable player there. He's a good attacking striker, good finishing, good off the ball. So they are bringing in some decent players, but £50 million being spent and still can't stay in the league. And I bet the money that they've got at the club as well is absolutely ridiculous. They've got Shea Lacey they've just brought in. Let's have a look at the finances of the club then. So finances here, £111 million just in the bank balance, with £126 million transfer budget to go into the Championship. That's ridiculous. Now, another 5 years later, Plymouth Argyle, Championship 4th place. Just lost in the playoff final from, obviously, getting relegated 5 years previously. But they've always been in this situation. I mean, they were 10th place the season before that. They were in the playoffs in 4th, but didn't go up the season before that. 5th place 4 seasons ago. And 3rd place, Championship, the season before we left them, obviously, when they were relegated from the Premier League. Salford are having a better time than Exeter City. They've actually climbed all the way up to the Championship in this point, and they're doing very well. They're still in it. They're still in the Championship. They're 7th place. Salford City didn't go 12th place. They've done really well, to be honest. But Plymouth Argyle, I expected better. Ryan Yates is their current manager. Now, you can't really do too much when, of course, you've got the likes of managers who are not going to take them to the next level. They've still got Shea Lacey as like their key player. Still a very good player. He's 33 now, so they're going to need, obviously, to start replacing those players. They only spent £15 million. Now, I'm a little bit worried, to be honest, because I thought when you started to see the uprise in where they've been doing, they've still got the same capacity as you can see. They're still packing out the stadiums, hopefully. But the finances, £102 million, £21 million in their transfer budget. Are they still packing out the stadium? I've said that a little bit. 168. It's gone down. It's about 40,000 people who are no longer going to the games. Oh, that's really low. That's gone down 100,000. They have plummeted in terms of attendance. How interesting. Okay, so, I mean, they're still earning a lot of money, but that is quite interesting how it's dropped that much. Exeter City, though, it's not looking good. Still in Sky Bet League 1, but they've literally just been relegated. So 49 points, only 2 points behind Burton, and they had better goal difference. So they actually would have survived. So they're now going down. They've just sacked their new manager, and they've been in that division the whole time. So as you can see here in the league history, they didn't go up or down. They stayed in Sky Bet League 1 until this season. I think this is a bit of a lost cause with the reputation, you know. I mean, it's gone down to the lowest that we have seen it, 4,700 there. And it's just not doing anything, is it? I mean, they're in debt. They're in real big trouble here. And this is like, what are we, 20 years into the future now? No, 15 years into the future. They're 15 years into the future, and I've given them the highest reputation in the world 3 times. And they've not been able to do, or I guess, maybe it just doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And that's why I like these experiments, because sometimes some of them have surprising actions that you don't really expect, and sometimes she's a bit underwhelming, which if every experiment had something really interesting, I mean, we'd all be making silly videos about everything. So I like it that something maybe just doesn't work, but the Plymouth Argyle situation's a little bit strange, isn't it? Okay, just 2 years later, and we have a bit of hope here with Plymouth Argyle. Now, I was a little bit worried, I must admit, but they've survived in the Premier League in a season, so that's got to be something, right? I mean, last season, get themselves promoted. They finished in 5th place to come up through the playoffs. So I thought, okay, let's see how they do this season. And if it's good, we know that there might be something to chase here. They spent £27 million, but sold $24 million. And it was quite a good window. I mean, Pedro Sousa was the most expensive. He's not a bad striker, just not exactly great. The signings around him, and they're buying quite a lot of old players, which does worry me. And they're selling, like, the youngsters. I mean, this goalkeeper, who was, like, one of their best goalkeepers, George McMahon, he went for, like, £16 million. They could have used him a lot more. They could have used him in the Premier League, to be honest. But I don't know. Instead, I'm kind of happy with just the fact that they managed to survive. And that's probably thanks to this guy here, who's a player in the game, Fabio Engellicht, an Austrian player. But I mean, he's kept them up this season, 17th place. And if we're looking at in terms of their attendances, I don't think they're as high as what they used to be, nowhere near the 190. But they're still getting at their home games, 107 there, that's kind of low. The Liverpool game, 121. Coventry, 100. It really depends on who they're against. Man City's probably high, 120. So if they're playing against a good team, it goes up about 20,000. If it doesn't, it goes down to just the 102,000 there. So they're still bringing in a good amount of money. I'm curious to see how long this lasts. It might be the case that this doesn't last and this is the ceiling that they can hit. I mean, Exeter City, I think, is a bit of a lost cause altogether. But, I mean, they're in League 2 now. They've got Andrew Gudjohnsen as their manager. There's no point. There's no survival for Exeter City, unfortunately. Well, it was a good run while it lasted. But in the 20th season, Plymouth Argyle are relegated. So they lasted 3 seasons. They went down 37 points. It's actually quite harsh, to be honest. They were only a point behind 2 clubs that they had a way better goal difference than, so would have survived. I mean, Southampton, what a free fall that is. They lost 5 of their last matches. But still with the same manager, Plymouth Argyle go down with Fabio English as their manager. Going down, Fabian Gatti was their top player there. I mean, he's good. He is actually quite good there. They spent £59 million in that final season as well, and spent big on... I mean, that guy there, he played 28 times off the bench. Why are you spending £20 million for a player that doesn't even get into your first team? There's obviously a lot of problems with this. If we had that scenario at the club that I would manage, you could probably get a lot more out of this. It might be an experiment that I do with my dad. Maybe we give ourselves the biggest fan bases in the world, or the biggest reputation, and we go against each other that way. But as you can see, 116,000 there against Manchester United. Chelsea game, 111,000. It's coming back down again from that 120,000 that we were getting. I think this is slowly just going to get worse and worse. We're at 20 seasons now. I think that's where the experiment kind of dies off. You can get to a Premier League level. You can push a club from Sky Bet League 1 into the Premier League, where Plymouth Argyle have never been before. But that's kind of as far as you can potentially get. They did have a 9th place finish, by the way, which is unbelievable. Couldn't capitalise on it. And that's a big shame. Exeter City, however, that's not even Exeter City. That's how bad they've dropped down. They're not even the top Exeter club anymore. There they are. Exeter City, Sky Bet League 2, relegated into the conference. That's a bombshell. That is a bombshell. Also, Wrexham was there. It's 20 years, I get it. But if you think we gave this club silly amounts of reputation, the most reputable club in the world, now they're down to 4,245. And we upped that 3 or 4 times. That's how bad it's got. So yes, reputation probably means nothing in Football Manager in terms of a club. Player-wise, absolutely, you can win Ballon d'Ors off the back of being the most famous player. But maybe having the biggest stadium in the world has an impact ever so slightly. If there's any other experiments, let me know down in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching. On screen right now, though, my dad and I did another experiment with Birmingham and Wrexham. We give ourselves tycoon takeovers, and we could see how far they went in a trophy race across 10 years.